Episode 2 The Deepest Pour. High in the Black Hills, just west of the historic city of Leeds, South Dakota, the pines grow thick over secrets we have nearly forgotten. Most people come to the Black Hills for the views, but here at History Below the Pines, we are more interested in what lies beneath our boots. Between 2024 and 2025, our journey combined reached over 5.7 million of you across social media platforms. From Facebook to TikTok to Instagram, if there's one thing that we have learned from sharing these stories, it's that the best history isn't found online or in the brochures. It's in the dust of the abandoned mining shafts and on the grounds of the abandoned ghost towns. It's in the dreams of those who dug them and lived in them. Today, we are taking you 114 feet below the surface to a legend, a place where the beer was always 46 degrees and the walls were solid rhyolite. Welcome to History Below the Pines Storytellers Collection. I'm Levi Kessler, and this is the story of the Inferno. What was the world's only underground tavern that sat inside of an abandoned gold mine. Our story doesn't start with a bar tab. It starts in 1903 with a man named Stephen Persevich. Stephen was a Yugoslavian immigrant who came to the Black Hills of South Dakota with nothing but a dream and the grit of hard rock mining. He spent his days working for the Homestake Mining Company, at the time one of the largest gold mines in the world. But Stephen didn't want to just dig for the company. He wanted to dig his own gold mine. And he did just that. For 42 years, Stephen spent every spare minute away from his quote unquote regular job, digging to his own property. Think about that. Decades of picking, drilling, and blasting. His two sons, Nick and Mitch, also helped, and they had vivid memories of helping their dad out in the mine when they were barely big enough to probably navigate a wheelbarrow. Now, Stephen was chasing a vein. At one point, the ore actually hit $108 a ton. Quite successful, you could say. But as we all know, gold is a fickle mistress. That rich vein that we just talked about, that $108 a ton, yeah, that petered out. It petered out to less than $4 a ton. Yeah, that's quite the hit. By 1945, Stephen's health gave out before the mountain did. But the Persevich legacy wasn't finished. Joining us on the podcast now is someone who actually carries that legacy in her DNA. We are going to talk with Barbara Persevich, who is the granddaughter of Stephen Persevich, and hear her take and what she remembers of the legendary Inferno.
Well, I'm not sure just what information you do have. Most of it took place after I was gone from there because I left when I graduated from high school. And I, other than just visiting on different situations and occasions, I never was really living there again. So all my information was piecemeal, I guess you might say. But it started when my grandfather, who was an immigrant from, well, at that time it was called Austria, but it was actually Slovenia. And that he and my grandmother came to the United States and settled in Lead, in the Lead area, Lead Black Hills. And he basically did mining on his own. at that time, people took out claims and they went around and utilized their energy and everything to mine these claims to try to find gold. So the area that became the Inferno was a tunnel for all practical purposes that he dug out by hand and pick and shovel. And it, it actually was quite a big area. He must have used dynamite at some time, but it was all basically handwork, as far as I know, and done by him, as far as I know. So after he passed away, the boys, there were 3 boys in the family, and when 2 of them had been in the World War II forces. The oldest one was in the Seabees, and Mitchell, the youngest one, was he was on a destroyer in the Pacific, and they came back after the war, and my father, who was a miner and who wanted to go to the war but couldn't because we lived on a farm, and they didn't want farmers joining the service. They needed them at home. So he was always disappointed that he didn't get to go. But just after I graduated from high school and left home, I guess there was discussion, and they had come back from the service, about doing something with that mine. Whoever got the idea to turn it into a bar, I'm not sure. Maybe it was just a group discussion, but they did get together and managed to create the Inferno bar, and it had quite a reputation around the area. People, were drawn to it because it was something different. And like I said, I didn't really know a lot about it, but I had visited when I was home. I had gone there a number of times and had heard different stories with regard to that. But basically, during the course of the time that they were operational, my aunt, who was part of it, she was the youngest daughter. There were 2 girls and 3 boys, and she had been married and lost her husband, who was a veteran. And I'm not sure what it was that he passed away from, but she lived with my grandmother then for the years after my grandfather died. Both she and Mitchell, the youngest boy, lived with my grandmother. And when they were discussing the operational opportunities, I guess you might say, with the Inferno, they did not. Well, she did get married again, and Mitchell he developed cancer and passed away from his affliction of cancer. And Nicholas, the oldest one, he also got married. So I wasn't sure of the dates that it was operational, but they sold it in 1966. So they actually had it for about 10 years or a little bit over 10 years. But as far as I know, it may have been operational after they sold it, but I'm not sure about that either. I know that people had visited after they had left the operation, but to what extent it remained operational after that, I'm not sure. My father wasn't a part of it because he had been severely injured in a mine accident and really had no opportunity to work in that type of thing. So it was just the two boys and my aunt that were the figures that were dominant as far as developing it and keeping it going.
And you are speaking of it, developing it and keeping it going as a bar, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, just making sure we're talking about the same operations. Making sure we're following along.
That's the same question I was going to ask.
Other than being a tunnel in the side of the mountain, the only other thing that it was a bar during the time.
And so it never produced anything of value other than the tunnel.
No, they did put a lot of work into it to get it developed, and as far as I can recall, it was kind of a hot spot there for a while because it was unique and had a reputation for, whatever, as far as bars and that type of thing goes. So I'm glad that you're finding out some of the information that I never had it anyway.
Just a little tidbit. I don't know if it has any relevance to this at all, but Grandpa Stephen, her grandpa Persevich, my great grandpa, also had a tunnel in the back of his house where he bootlegged.
That would be an intriguing little side jaunt to talk about.
I don't know if he sold any of his beer in the bar, but
no, he didn't.
Yeah.
No, he didn't sell it. No.
He was a bootlegger.
Well, he made beer. And like she says, there was a tunnel that came off the kitchen and went into the mountainside. And that's where they did a lot of their storage because the temperature was pretty stable, and refrigeration was not something that was commonly had. So it got a lot of use. And I can remember quite vividly once when we were having dinner and all of a sudden we could hear these loud pops, like maybe muffled gunshots, and everybody stopped eating and looked at each other, and someone said, "Oh, it's Grandpa's beer." So it was, for whatever reason, was popping its lids.
So after its life of a mine, it went to a bar. After its life of a bar, it was, from our understanding, the only ski shop inside of an abandoned mine, inside of an abandoned bar in the world. So that's where you would stop going to Terry. You would stop as you're going to Terry Peak or Deer Mountain, and you'd pull off there, and you'd go in, and you could rent skis there, or you could buy skis.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
I didn't realize that. Well, that's very, very interesting. Glad to get the information. If my brother were still here, which he isn't, he probably could have given you a lot more, but I never was there during this time, and so I missed out on a lot.
Well, but we're doing your brother proud, hopefully, and helping tell some of your family history at the same time. So yeah, we appreciate your guys' time, and we'll let you get on with your day. Well, there you have it. That was Barbara Persevich, the granddaughter of the miner and the founder, you could say, of the Inferno Tavern. Now, with the dynamite cleared, the Persevich boys opened up a space for 70 persons. It featured a 90-foot entrance, a tunnel, and even a third tunnel that ran 1,000 feet back under the mountain. That would have been the old mine workings. Now, the Inferno was a natural refrigerator. It kept beer at a constant 40 to 46 degrees year-round in the back room. But don't worry, they had a heater, so in the wintertime, for après ski, you were nice and toasty while you were enjoying your ice-cold beer. By the time the tavern was sold to the Bruce family in 1966, it was a Black Hills staple. But a tavern is just a cave without the atmosphere. You needed a bar, you needed the sandwiches, and most importantly, you needed the beer and music. Our next guest is Billy. Billy was in a band that played numerous times here inside the old Inferno. And he's going to tell us a few memories and stories he has of this legendary place.
Hi, my name's Billy. Y'all might remember me from back in the 70s. I'm in the Inferno Bar, where my band played many times inside and outside. As a matter of fact, this pool table was my drum riser, but it actually sat over there. And I remember many times after finishing the night, have to go home and take a shower, get all the little rocks out of my hair that had fallen during our performance. And it was loud. It was very loud. As you can see, it's not a very big place. The band consisted of myself, Alan Terrell, Gordon Bieber, Dave Green, and Danny Widows. And we played a whole lot of rock and roll. We're talking Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple and Uriah Heep, that vein there from the 70s. So this is pretty cool coming back in here and experiencing it, bringing back memories long ago, early 70s. We even played outside on top of the restrooms. Restroom drift is over there, where that Pepsi machine is. Was part of our PA. And that's where I met my first wife. She was hiding behind the PA. Finished the set and I was heading for the bathroom. She was hiding behind the PA. She grabbed me as I was coming along and landed a big kiss on me. And needless to say, we got married. So this is pretty cool coming back in here and I appreciate it.
What was your favorite memory?
A lot of favorite memories. I mean, this place would pack out. There's not a whole lot of room, but a lot of beer guzzling. Yeah.
Do you remember what beer cost at the time?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
Was it free because you were playing music?
Yeah, it was free for the band, that's for sure. I'll bet, back in them days, everybody was drinking PBRs, Pabst Blue Ribbon or Schlitz. That was big. I don't really remember the price, but I don't think it was over $1. $1.50 maybe, So.
Do you remember where the bar was?
Yeah, the bar was here. Along this wall. It wasn't a huge bar. Yeah, it could have been there. I just remember being set up over here against this wall here. The pool table was here, and I always had to remove one of my drums to get up on the stage on my drum riser. Had a 4x8 piece of plywood on top. Had to duck, of course. But, yeah. Still, it's not too bad a shape. There's a lot of slough off here, but yeah. That's about all I got to say. It's just great being in here again.
Well, those were some fun stories. Thank you, Billy, for sharing some insight of your history here at the Inferno Tavern. Eventually, the music did stop. Whether it was a rising cost of maintenance or the shifting tides of the tourist season, it changed for good, and it was the end of an era. Now, one could blame it on the neighbors, another one could blame it on the Days of 76 parties, but whatever it is, it shut it down for good. The mountain was shuttered and closed. Like I said, it was the end of an era. Today, the site is a quiet reminder of a time when the Black Hills was a little bit wilder and a lot deeper. The Inferno isn't just a story about a bar. It's a story about a father who spent 42 years digging a hole, and a family that had the vision to fill it with life. Barbara, Billy, thank you for helping us bring the echoes of the Inferno back to the surface. And to the audience, next time you're out and about hiking, maybe look at the surface. You never truly know what lies beneath your feet. I'm Levi Kessler. Thank you for digging deep with us. This is History Below the Pines, the Storyteller's Collection, and we hope you will join us right here next week for another episode. This podcast episode was captured through the lens of our professional videographer, Clark Young. The interviews were conducted by Aaron Jorgensen. This podcast is produced and edited by me, Levi Kessler. Thank you, and we will see you on the next podcast.